What do a frog, a vegetable, and a clock have in common? They could all help you improve your productivity. Stick until the end to find out how. Hello Rebels, it's Fab here, and today I got a short but powerful video to introduce you to something that can really help you work better and organize your work. The PARA method. Now, I know that not everyone loves systems as much as I do, but trust me, finding the right system can make everything so much easier. That's why we're going to explore the PARA method today. Whether you're a lover of systems or just trying to better organize your day-to-day work, the PARA method offers a simple, flexible way to keep your digital life in check without sacrificing your productivity. This method was created by Tiago Forte and breaks down your digital information into clear, manageable categories. It might be that you just need to streamline your workflow and make sense of the chaos. In this video, I'll walk you through the basics of the PARA method and show you how exploring this approach could help you build a better system and one that is repeatable and easy to maintain. And yes, we have some tools to help you start using PARA for yourself. It's very important to remember that not everything will work for everyone. So hopefully by understanding what exactly the PARA method is, you will know whether it is the right fit for you. Developed by Tiago Forte, the PARA method is designed to organize all of your digital information into 4 top-level categories: project, areas, resources, and archives. Marketers love acronyms, right? Well, PARA stands for projects. These are the tasks linked to specific goals, usually with deadlines. Areas, these are ongoing responsibilities, things that you need to maintain over time. Resources, these are the materials that support your project or areas. Things that you come back to again and again and again. And archives, inactive items, projects that are completed, resources you no longer need, or areas that you no longer have active. Today, I'm going to introduce you to our slightly simplified version of the original method, because this is the one that we use with our students at the school, and it works really well for marketing and project management. The reason why the PARA method works so well for so many people is because it's a system that is built on a few key principles. First of all, is that it is universal, flexible, simple, and outcome-oriented. By being universal, it means that it adapts to different contexts and needs, so it can really be versatile across various projects. It's also quite flexible because it isn't really tied to any specific platform. You can implement it in Notion, Google Drive, or whichever tool you already have. It means you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and it works with your existing workflows. Which also reminds me that it's simple. It's easy to understand because it's very much outcome-oriented, which means all we're asking is to structure your information in a way that then helps you deliver the work that you want to do. So what does this actually mean, Fab? I hear you screaming. Well, imagine you're launching a new marketing campaign. This is a classic example of a project, a series of tasks with clearer goals and a deadline. You might then break it down into smaller tasks, like designing creative assets, setting up ads, analyzing the performance. Once the campaign is complete, it will be moved to archives. And throughout this campaign, you're going to use different resources as well. So if we're going back to our campaign, projects are your actionable tasks linked to specific goals and deadlines. Just like launching campaign, there are many other things that can be a project, like setting up an email sequence. These tend to be time-bound and result-oriented, so they tend to have a clear endpoint. So I want you to think about what will be a project in your day-to-day work. Is it something like creating a content calendar for the next 3 months? Or managing your inbox daily? If you guessed A, obviously creating a content calendar for the next 3 months, you are right. That's a project with a clear goal and a deadline. Managing your inbox, on the other hand, is an ongoing responsibility, which brings you to the next category. Yes, you could even say that inbox management could be an area of your work, because areas are ongoing responsibilities that you need to maintain over time. Think of them as the thing that you're constantly working on, like managing social channels, email marketing, website updates, and client relationships. Unlike projects, areas usually don't have a deadline, and they can be continuous, and they might need regular attention. Let's say that you manage a brand's social media presence as a marketer. This is an ongoing responsibility that will require consistent attention, which makes it an area. But instead, inside of it, as well as regularly scheduling posts and tracking analytics, you might have a specific campaign that will launch and it will last for 3 weeks. But the area itself doesn't have a specific deadline, which means you can keep working on that social media campaign over time until the project runs, right? Resources are the materials that support any project or area. It can be templates, guides, it can even be tools, anything that you refer to regularly. They don't have to be tied to a specific project, but it's nice to be able to bring them back together. Think about them as the knowledge and tools that you come back to again and again to help you get your work done. For example, you might have a collection of design templates that you use across multiple campaigns, or a checklist for SEO best practices whenever you're optimizing your next piece of content. These are resources that you can come back to and they can support your ongoing work. And finally, my personal favorite, one thing that I love doing, which maybe not everybody does, is utilizing archives. Oh my God. Obviously, I love making sure that everything is organized. So archives are likened to store things that are no longer active. All resources, past areas of focus, complete projects or clients. They're great because they keep your workspace clean and uncluttered. The main thing is the action of keeping active items and moving inactive items into an archive so that you only have present what is in your main workflow. So once a project is finished, like a campaign or an old client you work in, you move it into your archives. Let's say you wrapped up a product launch campaign. You want to store all the materials, the reports, the assets in your archive for future reference, but they're no longer part of your active work. A lot of the time, I even use my external hard drive as a huge archive for me. In short, projects are time-bound and areas are ongoing and need consistent attention. Resources support both your project and areas, and archives are where you put anything you're no longer active, but you want to use for future reference. My suggestion would be to look at this structure and give it a go. If you're ready to see how it could work for you, then it's important that you at least try it. And in order to try it, I think it's important to start seeing what are some of the key steps you need to take to actually take action. There are 3 main steps that I want you to think about: collecting, organizing, and implementing. Collecting is the first one that Tiago Forte talks about in his book, Building a Second Brain. So first of all, you want to start gathering all of your digital information. Think about tasks, notes, documents, and anything else that accumulated across your tools and platforms. These are kind of like the steps of your digital declutter. You want to make sure that you can see everything and you can make sense of it. I personally like to do this starting with areas and projects first. Then you organize them, right? And you can actually use them into the Prima framework. So you can look at different items and different things you're doing and decide whether they belong to projects, areas, resources, or archives. This part might take some time, but once you categorize everything, you'll have a much clearer view of what's active, what's ongoing, and what can be stored away for future reference. And then finally, you can implement. You can choose whatever you want to use to put the system into practice. In order to use it to your daily workflow, I would say go to the tools that you already have and see how you can split them into areas, projects, resources, and how you can build an archive for them. All right, so what do a frog, a vegetable, and a clock have in common? I did not forget. They are well-known productivity methods. Eat the frog encourages you to tackle your most challenging, important task first thing in the morning. The Pomodoro technique, named after the Italian word for tomato, is a method that involves working in 25-minute intervals, followed by short breaks. And time blocking involves scheduling specific time slots for different tasks or activities. Remember, whether you're a frog eater, a tomato timer, or a time blocker, the key is finding a system that works for you. And Para might just be the missing piece in your productivity puzzle. So why not giving it a go and seeing if this type of system can work for you? Check out the free resources in the description below and make sure that you try it for yourself. You never know. This might help you organize your space in a way that you never thought before. Until next time, class dismissed.